This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Next up, we've got some questions from our listeners, and if you've got a question for next week's show, you can ask it. Just scoot on over to Twitter. Follow us there. It's at The Angle Pod. We've got a lot of great stuff coming your way, but you want to follow us at The Angle Pod, and you'll get updates about what's coming, and you can participate and ask your questions. Next week, we're going to be talking about No Way Out 2006, where it's all about The Undertaker. So we're talking about The Rock's match now. We'll fast forward 5 years to 06, and we'll talk about The Undertaker. We'll be back on the 21st talking about the rookie year and what a year it was. Q Hicks says, once you were settled in, how was it seeing and hearing the fans cheer or boo you in capacity, such as an arena full of pro wrestling fans? I guess that is something you've got to get used to. I mean, certainly there were people cheering you on in amateur wrestling, but it's probably a different thing when there's 20,000 people booing or chanting you suck, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot more electric, a bigger environment. You go to a WWE show, especially a sold out show. These fans are so enthusiastic. In the Olympics, fans are more proper. They don't, boo or jeer, or, they clap properly, when someone does a takedown or gets a pin, but it's not overwhelming, not a lot of emotion. But you go to a WWE show and, man, these fans will, they will get your ass moving because they motivate you to become better. And it's a great, it's an awesome feeling to be in the ring.
Let's talk about the match right before you. Captain Chaos says, did you feel any extra pressure after seeing how good the Triple H Steve Austin 3 Stages of Hell match was?
Yes, I did. I mean, that match, first of all, they're both two of the top guys in the business, and they're doing a gimmick match, weapons and everything. And, that can set our match up to be a disaster because we don't have any weapons. And, a lot of times when you have like a 3 Degrees of Hell match, it's usually on last because that's where it should be positioned, because that's when you're doing the craziest stuff.
Right.
So Rock and I were just wrestling, but that's what I did best. I didn't like gimmick matches. I liked to wrestle. I liked to prove that I could be the best wrestler in the world. And Rock and I were on that night, and we had extra pressure because of that match prior to us with Triple H and Stone Cold. But I thought we did a pretty damn good job.
I totally agree. I'm curious, when you're in the main event like this, and you see these guys are tearing it up before you, are you watching it on a monitor backstage? Are you already in Gorilla? Are you still trying to warm up and just catch some when you can? What's that like?
It's warming up and catching some when you can. It's, you can't be totally into the show because you have to focus on your match, especially if you're the last match of the night. Yep. You're not going to watch much of the show. You're going to get prepared. You're going to get mentally and physically focused, and get ready for your match because, you're the main event. You're why the people bought the pay-per-view. You're why the people bought a ticket to come see you. So it's your responsibility to try to have the best match of the night.
So when you're sort of trying to gauge how they're doing and you can't really watch, you're just listening to the crowd, you hear them roar, and oh, they're really hitting. Right. Yes.
You could tell by the crowd reaction. They say it all. And, that match had a huge reaction from the crowd, and the fans were all over that match. So we knew that we had a big assignment ahead of us.
Skogo87 says, after being on such an impressive run with the belt, how did you feel about losing it so close to Mania? Did you feel you deserved the main event spot? And when did you know it wouldn't be happening?
I wanted the main event spot at WrestleMania. I felt like I deserved it, but I also knew that they were planning Rock and Austin 6 months prior to WrestleMania.
Right.
I believe they were planning it when I beat The Rock for the title at No Mercy in 2000. and they were going to let me have a good run for 6 months as champion. Then The Rock was going to win the title back, and then main event WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was already in the books, so there was nothing I could do, nothing I could say, and rightfully so. They were the two biggest names in the business, and to have them finally meet at WrestleMania 17, that was a huge money match. So I understood from a business perspective that this match is going to go on. There's nothing I can do about it. I knew that I'd main event at WrestleMania someday eventually.
Did you think that there was a chance that they would put you against Rock or Austin, or perhaps make it a 3-way? Or when did you know that was not going to happen?
I knew after I lost the title to The Rock. They had no plans of a triple threat. I believe the only way I could have main event at WrestleMania is if Rock or Austin would have gotten injured. I would have replaced them. That was my only chance of main eventing WrestleMania 17.
I know this is a weird question, but you said earlier, hey, they didn't tell you what was going to happen 6 months from now. Did you find out you were losing the title that day, or did you know before you got to the arena?
I probably knew about a month ahead of time because I knew the match was being set up against The Rock. Nobody said who was going to win. There was no finish discussed, but I kind of knew if I was going to face The Rock again in another pay-per-view 6 months after I beat him, he's probably going to beat me. So I kind of figured it out on my own.
Khalil Williams wants to know, would you consider this your best match with The Rock?
Yes, without a doubt. It was my best match, with exception to the finish, but I thought everything flowed very well, and the match told an incredible story. I thought it was awesome.
Gilmore Guy wants to know, did anyone sell the angle lock better than The Rock? And if so, who?
No, The Rock was the best, and that's because he let everybody see his face. A lot of people think that he oversells, but I think that he's right on with it. His style is all about selling. That's what he does best, and that's why he's so effective. Of course, he can cut a promo better than anybody else.
Right.
But the selling in the ring is what sells tickets, and he does it well.
Luke from Eastern Iowa has a great question. He says, considering this match happened in Las Vegas, do you have any good gambling or Vegas shenanigans stories? Jim Ross.
You know what?
Go ahead.
I don't gamble. I never did. So I don't have any stories about Vegas. Nothing crazy. I didn't get drunk and pass out somewhere. I don't have any Vegas stories, and thank God for that.
Yeah, that does feel like there should be a Kurt Angle Vegas story. We need to make one happen one day. Figure it out.
Hangover 3.
Oh my God.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.